It's 2 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling, the blue light of your phone reflecting off the walls. You have a decision to make that could break the company. Maybe it's a round of layoffs. Maybe it's a pivot that will render 2 years of work obsolete. Maybe it's a merger that sounds good on paper, but feels wrong in your gut. Everyone in the building looks to you for the answer. But who do you look to? Leadership is inherently lonely, but making high-stakes decisions in a vacuum is how empires fall. I've sat in that CEO chair for 29 years. I know exactly what that 2 a.m. ceiling looks like. Today, I'm going to share the framework I used to navigate the most difficult decisions of my life, the ones where there was no clear right answer, only a less wrong one. The higher you go in an organization, the fewer people there are who can tell you the truth without bias. You can't vent to your employees. It creates a ripple of panic that can paralyze output. You can't always talk to your leadership because it can be perceived as a lack of confidence or a sign of weakness. Most CEOs are making the biggest moves of their lives without a sounding board. This isolation leads to decision fatigue. When you're under constant pressure to be the one with the plan, your brain starts taking shortcuts. You start making decisions based on avoiding pain rather than gaining growth. Let me tell you about a dumb mistake made just recently by the CEO of Air Canada that cost him his job. An Air Canada jet, sadly, collided with a fire truck at LaGuardia Airport. It was a tragedy where the 2 pilots died and passengers were injured. The Air Canada CEO, in his public announcement, spoke in English, but the national languages of Canada are both English and French. It was insulting to the French speakers, especially considering that one of the pilots was from French-speaking Quebec. And why did he not speak in French at all? He wasn't that comfortable. He could have done it. It would not have been perfect, but at least people would have seen him trying. The Canadian public was insulted and called for his resignation, and the board quickly complied. Think about it. Just one announcement. That simple mistake cost the CEO his job. He let his limitations guide him. He didn't ask for advice, and it led him to the front of the unemployment line. It's too bad he didn't have someone to discuss it with first. To make better decisions, you need an external process to bypass your ego and your anxiety. Here's the matrix I teach. Pillar 1 is the 10-10-10 rule. When you're stuck, evaluate the decision based on 3 time frames. How will this look in 10 minutes? That's the emotional reaction. How will this look in 10 months? That's the tactical result. And how will it look in 10 years? That's the legacy. Most of the things that keep us up at 2 a.m. are 10-minute problems. When you force yourself to look through the 10-month and 10-year lenses, the path usually becomes clear. Pillar number 2 is the bias audit. Ask yourself, am I making this choice to be right or to get it right? Those are 2 very different goals. If you choose to protect your ego or your reputation, you're headed for disaster. You need an outside perspective to challenge your gut feeling, because your gut is often just a collection of old fears and outdated biases. You need someone who can ask you the questions you're too afraid to ask yourself. Pillar 3 is the kitchen cabinet. Every great leader in history had a private circle of advisors. These aren't your employees. They aren't your investors, and they aren't your family. These are your peers, people who have been in the trenches, who have no skin in your game other than your success, and who can tell you that you're being an idiot when you need to hear it. Without a kitchen cabinet, you are a king in a tower with no windows. It's not about being weak or indecisive. It's about being precise. The best athletes in the world have coaches for a reason. You simply cannot see your own swing while you're in the middle of hitting the ball. An outside advisor sees the label on the jar when you're stuck inside it. They provide the emotional distance that's required to see the strategy through the noise. Making decisions alone is a liability. Making them with a trusted peer is a strategy. I provide the confidential, high-level sounding board that most executives are missing. I don't give you the answers. I give you the clarity to find them. If you're facing a 2 a.m. decision right now, whether it's a structural change, a leadership crisis, or a massive strategic pivot, and you need a peer who has been exactly where you are, let's see if we're a fit for my private advisory. Leadership is lonely. So don't make your next big move alone. It's time for action. Click the link below and let's explore how we can work together to move you and your organization forward.